This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Hey, welcome 24/7 Buff Pandemonium Bills Mafia to Sunday Sessions with Scott, Swank, and Ryan. They're all over the place here, guys. First of all, I'd like to say Happy New Year, Happy 2022 to everyone. It's the beginning of a new year, a new beginning. Right now, the Bills are undefeated. Of course, they haven't played a game at all yet. It's weird, guys, coming into a new year knowing that we still have 2 regular season games to play. But, hey, the Bills are playing in January. That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'd like to welcome Swank. Swank, tell everyone where they can find you, bud.
Yo, you can find me right here drinking beers, 11:30 a.m. on Sunday, game day. You can find me on Twitter at I always do that, Swank 24/7 BF. You can find 24/7 Buff Pandemonium everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Tweeters, YouTubes. I saw our YouTube subscribers are starting to bump a little bit.
There you go.
Just noticed that, so that's cool. And you can also listen to the K-Gun Report and soon Sunday Sessions on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Anchor.
Fun stuff.
Welcome, Swank. It's always a pleasure to have you on with us. You're
brother.
always with us, so that's pretty awesome. Ryan,
What's up?
tell us about your podcast. Tell us where we can find you.
Yes, my podcast is the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, as well, Facebook and YouTube. I stream live. I love to get Bills Mafia fan interaction going. That's probably my favorite part about the show, as well as this show, is that we can see what the fans are thinking, hear what they're thinking, and get their thoughts leading into a game, post-game, you name it. You can find me on Twitter as well, at Ryan Thomas Take, and Instagram. Same handle, at Ryan Thomas Take. I appreciate the support. I've had a slow, steady rise in the YouTube subscribers these last few weeks myself. And the last few weeks I've seen 600, 700, 800 views on my post-game shows, which has been really awesome on YouTube. YouTube's a tough nut to crack, man. That's a tough cookie there with YouTube. So any subscriber help, I greatly appreciate it.
And if you subscribe to Ryan's YouTube, don't be afraid to subscribe to us, because we're finding the same challenges. For some reason, YouTube is being a little bit of a challenge, but we're creeping up. Welcome, Ryan. As you guys, if you watch the last couple shows, Ryan is a permanent fixture on Sunday Sessions. Gotta love the little image that Swank put down there with a little tape job. But welcome, Ryan. We love having you. Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Happy New Year's. Guys, we call this Sunday Sessions because Swank, myself, Ryan drinks a little bit, but he doesn't like to drink this early, I don't think. Like to crack open our
Not
first
this early,
beer.
usually.
We like to crack open our first beer of the day and have it with the Mafia. So cheers, everyone. I'm drinking Blue Moon actually makes this moon haze, which is pretty darn good. It's an IPA. And Swank, tell us what you're drinking and where you got it from.
Oh, I'm drinking the Forever Session India Pale Ale from Other Half, and it's delicious. Oh yeah, nice and
Looks
hazy
delicious.
and juicy.
Guys, our Buffalo Bills are hosting. Our 9-6 Buffalo Bills are hosting the 7-8 Atlanta Falcons. Hi, Mark. I got 25 degrees, a little windy. I don't know what the cold chill, the chills factor is going to be, but I know it is going to snow, 50-50 chance of snow during the game, which is, I'm a fan personally of seeing the snow falling in December, January, and hopefully February. But no, it's going to be a cold one. We can see Josh Allen air it out and show everybody that we don't need a covered stadium. Josh Allen could do the same in the snow and the weather.
Did you
there's
see?
a lot.
Did you see that Diggs interview on the McAfee show?
No.
Yes, I did.
You did? Yeah. So it's great. If you guys haven't watched it, they split out a little 10-minute conversation that Diggs had on the Pat McAfee show. Of course, McAfee being like one of our favorite guys that we watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he
Yep.
he purposely had Diggs on just to kind of like bust balls about the the celebration against the massholes, as McAfee likes to call them. And it was great. It was a really great interview. But in that, Diggs said that the cold weather was an advantage, and was an advantage last year during the playoffs against the Ravens. He said that in that interview. And I was like kind of shocked, because you'd think like, you hear all these things about players being like, oh yeah, of course we want to play in a dome. Like, why wouldn't we want to play in a dome? But here you have last year's #1 top wide receiver in the league saying it was a big advantage for us during that game. So, interesting. Just interesting.
Let me think about this. We haven't had this in forever, and these are the games I used to absolutely love, is the Bills versus Miami, December, January, February game.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is a high potential to happen. If we win this AFC East and Miami sneaks in at, spot 6 or 7, and we bump up a little bit, we potentially could be hosting the Miami Dolphins, Tua, and that warm weather team in the cold weather. I think that would be awesome. Tennessee's the same story. I think that's all going to be advantage us. But no, that weather does play a factor. And yes, I love the cold weather, Swank and Ryan. I just don't like how, and I know we'll never have a cold weather Super Bowl, but you get teams like Buffalo, you get teams like Pittsburgh, all those cold weather teams that play cold, and you get the teams like Tampa Bay who get to play in the warm weather constantly. By the time they make it to the Super Bowl, they're already acclimated to that warm weather. And we got our guys that are used to the cold on breathing treatments and getting the oxygen because it's hotter than what they've been playing in. So there's, I think, the only disadvantage in it. But as far as moving up the ranks to be able to play warm weather teams in cold weather, that'll help out indefinitely for sure.
We just got the inactives list. Not to cut you off here.
Let's get it.
No, we like to do that on Sunday sessions is let the fans know who is active for today. What's up?
Yeah, hell yeah. It's awesome that it happens just during the middle of the show. I love it. It's like breaking news. I feel like I'm behind a news desk.
This just in.
Breaking news, the inactive list.
This week's inactives. Number 1, Matt Breida. Emmanuel Sanders. Tommy Sweeney. Bobby Hart. Thank God. Boogie Basham. And Vernon Butler.
So no surprises, really.
Yeah.
Right? No surprises. Emmanuel Sanders still has the injuries banged up. So no surprises there.
No. And Star Lotullier returns to the lineup after missing last week's game against the Patriots. And 9 offensive linemen are active, including John Feliciano.
Yeah. It was
right,
big.
so-
That was huge getting all those guys back with the 5-day.
Right. So with Emmanuel Sanders back, Gabe Davis is obviously going to take over his spot, as we all think. I think we can all agree that's a good position. And then my only question is who we're going to see out there at the slot receiver. If Cole Beasley is active and if Isaiah McKenzie is active, it'll be interested to see after the game that McKenzie had last week to see how often Dable's going to have him out there. Potentially, we'll see the snap count by the time the game's over with, but it'll be interesting. We have a lot of weapons.
Yeah. I think it's funny how, obviously the offense likes to ride the hot hand, especially when it comes to running back. I think the same can be said about wide receiver a little bit, but the only thing that has been conflicting to that is that Gabe Davis is a stud every time he's in the game. So now you have Isaiah McKenzie come out. I think it was funny to watch Bills Mafia kind of implode on itself and do what we do best, which is overhype something and completely forget all about what Cole Beasley's done for this team for like the last 3 years, and just be like, Isaiah McKenzie's the man. When he fumbled that kickoff return, it was get him off the team. He's even here, and now it's give him every ball. And it's like, nothing is black and white, man. Everything is gray. And the dude can play. I think that this should spark a little bit more creativity, like circa last season with Dable, to get Isaiah McKenzie involved more. Like, you can put out all sorts of different sets, that jet sweep like we were talking about. I love that he threw that jet sweep in. He didn't have to do it 5 times, but I love that he got those couple in and they were productive, so they'll change it up and do it. But man, stop with this Cole Beasley stuff, man. The guy is a baller. He's probably like top 3 best slot receivers in the league,
I'll give him the top spot.
Yeah, and as far as Cole Beasley goes too, like, I'm sure he's thinking, I was inactive, I couldn't play last week because of COVID, and in his own words, paraphrasing, but the gist of what he was saying was the rules kept me out, all that stuff that he said, and he's probably feeling like, hey, now I got the chip on my shoulder coming back into the lineup. Hopefully, if he does today, it looks like to what Scott's saying that he is, and I'm excited to see what version of Cole Beasley we see heading into today's game, as well, reinvigorated with an offense that I think fully realizes and understands the potential that every player has on this team. Like, that every player has a job that fulfills a purpose that fits the mold of the offense that they want to run. What team can you really say that about in the NFL? I mean, outside of Tampa Bay and, Kansas City, I feel like Buffalo's offense is just one of those offenses where every single guy has a role that they can play effectively and be that difference maker. It's fun to watch. Last week I didn't even get the chance to really talk about it on my show, being out of commission the last week, but what a game that was. That's what that, game proved to me. And I feel that today we're going to see more of the same, hopefully.
And with our wide receiver talent, guys, you see teams that will run a West Coast offense. You see teams that use the deep ball quite a bit. With our talent, we actually have an unlimited playbook. We got Gabe Davis who can go deep. He can also catch the quick slants. He can catch the screens. He can catch the mediocre routes. Diggs, we all know he can run every route and he's effective at it. Now you got someone like Beasley who lives off the short pass, the quick slants, the quick outs, the triple move plays. And then you throw Isaiah McKenzie in there now. It's hard to defend those because if you watch last week's game, you understand that McKenzie actually runs deeper patterns than Beasley does. And it just shows you that that's in the playbook. If they wanted to use Beasley in those plays, they could, but Isaiah McKenzie is more effective. So we have wide receivers, schemes, and personnel that if depending on what we need, we can put anybody anywhere. And that makes it extremely difficult to cover. And then you throw Dawson Knox in the mix, who's becoming one of the best tight ends in the league. That's very scary as far as an offense goes. Very scary. And it's coming together at the perfect time, is it not?
Oh, absolutely.
It is. It is. And it's coming together at the perfect time. And I think that we haven't even seen the best of it yet. That's the part that really excites me. Maybe not even the best of it yet for this year, but beyond. You mentioned a name that I wanted to mention too, Dawson Knox. I mean, the year that he's had, when asked, when given the opportunity, he's made the most of it. I think it's a very limited workload in comparison to like Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, some of these receivers, some of these tight ends that are used, targeted almost as if they're wide receiver ones within their offense. That's not going to happen with Dawson Knox, but it is going to happen as far as Allen trusting him more and more as these weeks wear on this year. He has, and I think for the future, his future is extremely bright in this offense and in the league.
And with the Dawson Knox targets, these other teams don't have three wide receivers that potentially could be, in my eyes, number ones on a lot of teams. So unless the play is called for Dawson Knox, a lot of times he's the third, fourth, fifth read.
Yeah.
He's not Kelce,
Exactly.
He's not Andrews, he's not Kittle. He's not going to be the number one target on a lot of these pass plays.
Well, and I think that the way he's grown, it's just because he doesn't have to be, because they have so many other options, right? I think that he could,
He could. Yeah, I agree.
And I wouldn't have said that this time last year, but definitely, like, he's come into his own, and he deserves all the apologies. I hope he kept every single receipt because he's having a hell of a season. I just really quick wanted to say hi to some guys that we got watching with us. We had up over 27 here at one point, which was awesome. We got Mike Voigt. We got my boy Brent Thomason. We got Lisa, who I think is at the game the way she's talking. Let's see. We got your brother over there asking more fantasy advice. We got Debbie Emerton. Brent Thomason said he woke up this morning and found all this northern white shit on the ground. Damn snow in Arkansas.
Brian, I think it's pronounced Arkansas.
Arkansas.
We got Lonnie. We got all sorts of good people. Paul Rossi just showed up. So, yeah, a lot of good discussion. Thanks so much for hanging out with us for your pregame on Sunday sessions every Sunday at 11:30 with Scott and Swank plus Ryan.
It's Swank. I'm going to throw this out there. Knock me off if you don't think that we should do this, but Jared likes to ask the fantasy football questions. Mm-hmm. I know Ryan is a huge fantasy football guy. Mm-hmm. I love fantasy football as well. Jared's asking if he should start Gabe Davis this week. If you guys as a fan want to know who you would rather start over someone else, just give us a holler. We might answer you. With it being playoff time, this stuff's really fun to do. And if we get it wrong, you can't blame us. But if we get it right, get us all the credit. Okay. If you got some fantasy football questions, fire away. So, Ryan, do you think Jared should start Gabe? Jared, tell us who your other wide receivers are. That would help.
Like Devontae Adams.
So, Swank, I love that beard you have there. I really do.
Thanks. Hey, Ryan, buddy, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
There you are.
There you are.
Yep.
And we lost you again. But no.
Got a little freeze up.
Yep. Still paused. So I love that beard of yours. It'd be a shame if you lost your beard this week. I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the 24/7 Buff Pandemonium page. But last week on the K-Gun Report, we put out a little bit of a challenge. We decided that, hey, if the Bills win, if they win and they clinch a playoff spot, clinch a playoff berth this week, we would shave these bad boys into Fu Manchus. I know Brent Thomas is on board. Jared is. You are. You want to keep your 5 o'clock shadow, correct? But we have a lot of people responding on
my
that.
big old mouth shut when I came up with that on the K gun, because then I got looking. I was like, damn, my beard is finally getting it's a pretty nice length. But so I'm gonna go like old like Kung Fu Master, dude. These are gonna hang. These are gonna be
nice
for real, Fu Mans.
Nice.
So I told
Manchu.
She wasn't too stoked.
I know she won't be. I understand the fans. I'm just getting this. Want to know what would help us win a playoff spot this week? First of all, we have to win. We have to win against the Atlanta Falcons, right? A little help. If the Ravens lose and we win, we clinch a spot. Or if if the Chargers and the Raiders both lose and we win, we clinch a playoff spot. So there's actually not a lot of help, but we got to handle our own. We got to win. And obviously, if we win this week and the Patriots lose, then I think we actually clinch the AFC East. If I'm not wrong on that one, I believe that's the truth there.
I don't think there's enough games for them to make up, right?
Right, because if they lose this week, we win. Even if we lost next week and they won, we have the tiebreaker. And if we lose and Miami wins out, then I think Miami actually takes over. So we have to win. Basically, we have to win. If we do and we clinch, you guys are going to see us on Tuesday on the K-Gun Report with just Fu Manchus, huh?
Yeah, and please join in.
I gotta get my Fu Manchu going. I had to shave the beard. I miss it. It was a tough pill to swallow, but it was time to start over. You guys can hear me okay, right? I'm back, right?
I'm
back.
And you're back.
Okay.
I was filling the void with
man.
a little bit of Fu Manchu conversation.
Yeah, it makes a good show. A little drama, a little suspense, Is he coming?
Yeah, people were like, where was he? And then it was weird. Like I was still on, but it was just like frozen. I could still hear you guys.
Oh, really?
It was really weird. Yeah, that was strange. But hey, it's a day and age we live in.
There's
strange
a Disney show
internet stuff
that sings Frozen. Frozen. There you go. You're welcome.
We got let's see. We got some people that are really into this Fu Manchu thing. Brent Thomas says that we're gonna have to cut our shit, and I said, we'll do it with a big old smile on our face. That'll be fine. And then Brent said, shit, I'll cut off my pinky. And then there's some people saying I got to braid my Fu Manchu, Captain Jack Swank.
Put little braids on there. There you go. Army matey. So, guys, it's a pregame show. We haven't talked much about Atlanta. I would like to know from both of you, and I'll give you my little 2 cents after you guys talk. I know in the K-Gun Report, we like to talk about bold predictions, score predictions, what concerns us, and our X factors. Either Ryan is being a wonderful statue right now, or he's frozen again.
Oh,
man, come on. Good. No, I'm good.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, Ryan, we're going to do our against the Falcons. Let us know what you're worried about. If you're not worried about anything, your bold prediction, score prediction, and X factors. And obviously, if you cut out, Swank, you jump right in. Okay, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. I got you.
We should be good with me. We should be good. I got full internet access here. So, I would say, as far as my Atlanta Falcons, like keys, like people to watch out for, is that kind of the gist of the question? Yeah. So, I mean, Matt Ryan, I feel like he never really gets the credit that he deserves. He's been a rock steady starter in this league since day one. You got to remember too, like going way back, that was shortly after the whole Mike Vick thing. They were really bad without Mike Vick, the fallout of everything that went down with that situation. They're at the point where they could pick a quarterback out of BC, Boston College. Matt Ryan steps in, Matty Ice steps in and does his thing. This team, though, is a shell of itself from what it was even, a few short seasons ago. How many years ago was that? 3-4 years ago that they were in the Super Bowl with a 28-3 lead against the New England Patriots, blowing that game in one of the most epic collapses, I think, in football history. No Devontae Freeman anymore, no Julio Jones anymore, and a shocking story that kind of just took me by surprise, took everybody by surprise, was the whole Calvin Ridley situation where he just stepped away from the game. Nobody knows when he's coming back. I know that this team does play better than what the record shows. They've lost some close games that they're right in the thick of it. So the record is the record, but I feel like they are one of those teams that could come in and give the Bills a tough test. Just offensively, they still do have a very serviceable quarterback, and Mike Davis is one of those running backs too, where he could just wear a defense down. So those are that's kind of how I see the Atlanta Falcons heading into this one.
Nice.
I like it.
What do you got for bold prediction, X factor, and score?
Yep.
My friend.
My bold prediction, I would say, would be that Josh Allen is going to put up 300, 350 plus in this weather, which is crazy. I think that's a bold prediction, but I don't think the weather is really that bad. I mean, this is weather that Josh has put numbers up in before. Yeah. I could see him doing it again. Atlanta's defense is really bad. And I think that the score could possibly be 31-14 Buffalo. I think this is going to be a big win for the Bills. The momentum is really on their side. They got their wind in their sails. I think they're, full steam ahead. The herd is marching, and I really enjoy the stampede that we're kind of building and running right now. I think the momentum is really on our side at the perfect time. So this is going to be a nice win for the Bills.
Momentum. We're on our way to winning, clinching a playoff berth. Right now, we're on the top of the AFC East. We just beat the Patriots last week. And with the snow falling and the cold weather, you best believe that Mafia is going to be crazy today. We end our two games at Highmark. So I can't wait to just see the crowd reaction for today. Swank, tag, you're it.
Hey. So I think that the one thing that concerns me is Cordell Patterson and what'll happen with him, right? There was, in fact, a little insider info. If I was like one of those weird old guys that stayed all day at the OTB or whatever.
You're a weird young guy, so not far.
Yeah, but if I was a guy that just had papers all over me and was like scratching my face and like drinking 18 liters of coffee, like looking at horses and stuff, and I heard this tip, I might give the Bills a touchdown. So this is some insider stuff that I'm sure some of you people already saw. But
it's just a tip, though, right?
The Bills, specifically Reed Ferguson, sent wings to the whole team yesterday. They showed up in Buffalo and they sent them chicken wings. So now they got chicken wing gut coming into Sunday's game, and I think that was a perfect ploy.
We've all experienced that.
Yeah,
that's for sure. We know what that's like.
I'm about to experience it later, I think. So,
but isn't that awesome though? I mean, that's an awesome gesture for sure.
Very nice. Class personified.
That's what it is, right? I mean, this team and this fan base are exactly perfect for each other. What? Oh, there it is. It's about to begin. So for me, my score prediction is going to be cranked a little bit this week. I'm going 45-10. And I know that's getting back into like Homer area for me, but I think what needs to happen this week is that we don't just get this win, we throttle them. We got this momentum building up, we're stacking wins, we're going into the playoffs, and we need to be rolling into the playoffs, beating the teams we're supposed to beat by a lot and winning hard games. And if you're not conditioned to keep into that sort of mindset and that sort of game plan, you're not going to get very far. If the playoffs started today, we'd be playing the Colts, and then next week, if we won, we'd be playing the Chiefs. So these are the teams and the situations that we need to think of. And to be honest, all the other options right now in the AFC for who we'd play if it wasn't those guys, you're talking about the Bengals, I'd rather play the Patriots, to be honest, and the Dolphins, which right now, between the Patriots and the Dolphins, I think I'd rather play the Patriots, instead of the Dolphins. The Dolphins are rolling, and I know that we own them, but they're the scarier team to me. I think we figured out the Pats. Anyway, with all that being said, we need to go in there, punch them in the mouth, get every single aspect of our game right. Exactly. So that's my score prediction. My bold prediction is that defensive line gets right and puts some sacks on the goddamn board. And I'm gonna go with our first round draft pick, man. I'm gonna say Groot has 2 sacks today. Gets his
Mm-hmm.
feedback under him right before playoff time. What would you think about that young man if he hit Matt Ryan twice at going into the last week of the season? That feels good to me, right in my chicken wing gut. And then X factor for me today. I really want to go offense. I really want to go slot receiver. And I think I'm going to piss some people off. I think Cole's going to come back and show you exactly why he's a top slot receiver in the NFL. I think he's coming. He's already got a chip on his shoulder from everything. And you know what? It wouldn't piss me off if Isaiah McKenzie had a better day than he did. But I bet you Cole goes out there and does all the things that he's always done here, and has to shut up his own fan base.
Let's not forget. Let's not forget what Cole has provided for this offense.
Yeah.
No, we can't forget. And what if they both have a good day? I mean, then you're really humming. If they both have a good day.
Mafia doesn't matter. Swank said, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, and there are fans out there that's like this, which drives me crazy. Every week we talk about it, and I think we talk less and less about it because we're kind of getting over it. But yeah, why not? Why can't Cole Beasley and Isaiah McKenzie both have a day? And let's not forget what Beasley's provided for the Bills. He's, because of injury, he missed 100 receptions last year. He's a guy that makes this offense so much better. So it doesn't matter who's playing. Let's win. But God forbid Beasley has a great game. Let's be pissed off because of his political stand. But who cares? We're here to watch football.
Yeah, dude, this isn't politics, and I hate politics.
Right.
I hate it. If you want politics, man, you
got me
the
spitting.
news. Read the paper, watch the news. It's the same thing to me. For me, though, I'd rather root for a team that I've believed in no matter what since I was like 4. Because that makes more sense to me than getting in all political and crazy about this stuff. Like, the fact of the matter is, when this team wins, I feel good. That's it.
Well, it makes your whole week.
Exactly.
Makes the whole week better.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that both of those guys have proven that they could both have a role in this offense. I think, we were talking about this off the air. There was a guy by the name of Steve Tasker. We're going to get to him, but I just want to throw this out there about Steve Tasker real quick. And it actually brings home a point about Isaiah McKenzie. Jim Kelly would talk about on a year-to-year basis how Steve Tasker should be lined up as a wide receiver. They should have Reed, Lofton, Beebe, and Tasker spread out 4 wide. They didn't do that because they had a Hall of Fame running back out of the backfield that obviously warranted touches. Touches meaning via in between the tackles or in the passing game. And my point is, if you have a talent as a returner like McKenzie, you see that. We've seen his speed. We've seen his ability to break in the open field and make guys miss. Why would you not get him out there in space as a receiver? I think they're onto something there. I think that they need to dive into that a little bit more. And this is an era where we don't necessarily have the best running back group, but we do have an NFL now that every team spreads the ball around. Every team has 4 wide. Every team spreads the defense. Buffalo can do that with Diggs, Davis, Beasley, and McKenzie. I want to see that today. I think we will see that today, actually.
Yeah, I'm in it. I'm in it for all of it.
Yep.
I mean,
great point.
What a lineup, though, dude. Like, when you were saying that, like, Reed, Beebe, Lofton, Tasker, like, just to say those 4 names, like.
And like 94, 95, I'm looking at Steve Tasker's stats, and you did start to see him get more of a role as a wide receiver, and you did see production. It's not like he was just, we're going to line him up at wide receiver for this game. No, he was a productive wide receiver for, in an offense that had a lot of options. But it made them wonder, hey, maybe we should have lined this guy up at wide receiver a little sooner than we actually did.
Scott, when he was in, he was effective. Right? I said that last week.
Yeah, he was very effective.
That Jim Kelly, championed.
Jim Kelly wanted him. Yeah, Jim Kelly
wanted him as a wide receiver. Yeah.
But Marv Levy knew that the 3 phases of the game were very important. And Marv Levy did not want his special team stud affected in any kind of way. Yes, Ryan, when he was in, he was effective. When you saw number 89 out there, he caught balls. He's fast. He's a good slot. He went deep. He did everything.
He's not afraid of contact.
Marv put the kibosh on Jim Kelly's request to have him out there playing consistently. Yeah.
It makes me wonder if he hadn't and they just did what Jim, wanted to do. And let's say Steve Tasker has 4 or 5 years of solid wide receiver production.
Yep.
As well as being a special teamer.
Hey.
You're definitely a shoe-in, I think, for Canton.
Ryan,
sure.
4 or 5 years of wide receiver at 30 catches a year. Say, give him that. He's right where Devin Hester is wide receiver wise.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And they used Devin Hester as a running back too. Like, not that Buffalo would have had to have done that, but it just goes to show you like the difference in eras. I think the late 80s, early 90s, they wanted to do the things that they're doing now. It's just that old style football was still prevalent in the National Football League at that time.
Yep.
Pretty interesting.
Sure. Guys, I have some bold predictions here. John's 35-6. Josh throws 4 touchdowns, 3 passing. 4 touchdowns total, 3 passing, 1 rushing. Bold prediction from Brent Thomason. Motor gets a 100-yard game. X Factor, 200 dildos hit the field. Oh, there you go. Joshua Peck says a linebacker will get a pick. I like that one. These turnovers are why the scores are going to be so big. 3 wide receivers with 80-plus yards. That's Paul Rossi. Love it. Lisa John says 50-10. You guys know my bold prediction. Jared's going 49-0, and Swank finally hit the 40-point mark. Love those, guys. Nice, bold predictions. You guys want to hear mine, or you guys want to just go to watch the game now?
You want to go to commercial?
I put the TV on the background because it tells me at 12 o'clock when it comes on, we got an hour left till game time. Yeah. That excites me. My bold, my score prediction, guys, at the beginning of the week, I was 35-10, but because it's going to be 25 and snowy, I upped the ante a little bit. I'm hiding it on myself. 42-10.
Ooh.
42-10. There you go.
You and I are in the same ballpark.
There you go. My bold prediction stays the same. I know Micah Hyde got 2 interceptions last week, and that was kind of like there you go, snub our safeties. I think Poyer's going to do the same this week. I think Poyer's going to get 2 interceptions. My X factor, and Ryan, you mentioned it earlier. Mike Davis, got to stop the run. Cordell Patterson, got to stop the run. The screens, the sweeps, the kickoff returns. He's very dangerous. He's very dangerous. Those I think would be the only concerns I had is the running game and Patterson, because Patterson, I mentioned in the Kagan report last week, the guy hasn't been used properly until Atlanta finally got him, and now he's an all-pro in my book. You put him anywhere, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he does everything right. And if Atlanta did the right thing and kept some talent there for Matt Ryan, I think the team would be in a better situation than they are now.
Just watch out for that chicken wing gut.
Watch out for that chicken wing gut, guys. I see that the concerns on offense. That Kyle Pitts is no joke, guys.
That's another player I forgot to mention.
Definitely mentioned.
Big time talent out of a warm weather state. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how affected he is with this snow and the cold weather. No, I'm excited. I think it should be a shutout. The dome team, the warm team, is coming to a cold Buffalo Bills game. It's going to be an interesting game to watch, and I don't have any issues with Josh Allen throwing the ball deep and throwing the ball the way he does in the snow. I don't.
This is breaking in the comments here. Lisa John says that she loves Micah Hyde.
Who doesn't?
That might be the first time
outside of Jerry Sullivan.
She literally says it every show, every day, every week, and we love her to death. John goes, I never would have guessed. I had a question for you guys, just like little housekeeping cleanup stuff. How do you guys feel about Stevenson and how he's doing fielding punts and kickoffs?
I like him a lot. And that's another point I'd like to kind of hammer and kind of sandwich in with McKenzie, is that you do have an adequate returner in Stevenson from what I've seen that would provide McKenzie more of an opportunity to play wide receiver. Like it perfectly fits what they want to do. What they've tried to do is not as much as it's great to know that Josh Allen can throw the deep ball. We all know he can, but if they can get these players in short space that can create yards after catch, that I think that's a whole new layer to this offense that we've really only seen with Beasley. And I think we could see it more with McKenzie.
Swank, you're gonna like my response here, bud. We're gonna take a clip of this, and we're actually gonna show it on our Twitter account later on this week.
Okay.
You listening?
Jared.
I think Stevenson's got a bit of the rookie mentality going into it.
Mhm.
I think he's afraid to put the burners on that he does have because he's the fastest guy on the team. I think he's afraid to do that. He's afraid to mess up, and he's afraid to not hit the right hole. If you watch Andre Roberts last year, if you watch Isaiah McKenzie's good returns this year, they commit and they run their ass off. I think today you will see Stevenson finally get a little more comfortable and use those burners, commit to a hole. And I'm not saying he's going to take one for a touchdown, although our 40-point scores would suggest there's something that's going to happen. He's going to have a huge return, whether it's punt or kick return, because I think he's finally going to get it. I'm going to pick a hole. I'm going to run as fast as I can because I got that speed, and this is going to be my wake-up call in the NFL, telling everybody I belong here.
Yeah, I like that. I like that take because I can't say with a straight face that Stevenson has been like the Devin Hester of kick returners or a Dante Hall. I can't say that, but I think he is a adequate returner. I do see instincts from him. It's just that you don't see that initial awareness to just, as you said, find a lane, pick a hole, commit to it, and really run hard. I see him get the smart yards and take what yards are available,
yes.
But not necessarily create. And that's what a returner has to do. They have to create the lane, create the illusion of going one way as opposed to the other. And that's what made Devin Hester and Dante Hall so enjoyable, is that they'd cut one way and cut the other way. And,
That's the thing with the kickoff return and punt return. It's a commitment. And when the hole's there, a lot of times it closes quick. So, Dante Hall and Hester, they made a living out of getting past that one mark, getting past that one hole that they had to scoot by, and then it was daylight. They can use their speed to outrun everybody else.
Josh Cribbs, too. That's another one. Yeah.
Yep. You watch them. A lot of them will get real fast. They'll make themselves fit the hole. They'll get through it, and then
Yep.
So, hey, you never know. Guys, I also wanted to bring up, I know we're talking, we all think Josh Allen's our MVP, and his numbers would suggest that he should be in the running pretty high numbers for being someone that could be considered for the MVP of the year. But I put out a post this past week asking, because quarterback is such a highly potent position. We know year in and year out, there's a good chance it's going to be a quarterback. Out of the non-quarterbacks, the rest of the league, who do you think deserves the MVP vote? I put out the post: Jonathan Taylor, TJ Watt, Aaron Donald, and Cooper Kupp, and 70% of the fans said it should be JT. I'd like to hear you guys' opinion on this.
Yeah, I would agree with the 70%. Jonathan Taylor has been the best back in the league this season. I don't think that's a overestimation. I know Derrick Henry is still like in the leaderboard discussion, even though he's missed as much time as he has, which is insane. Yeah. He's slowly slipping off, but Jonathan Taylor has been amazing for the Colts. We saw what he did, to us firsthand. I mean, they just leaned on him the entire game and he exploded. That was really his welcome to the NFL superstardom game, where he took that game over. And it's not that he's just a running back. He can pass block. He can catch passes out of the backfield. And he's a player that I really liked coming out of college, somebody that I wanted Buffalo to take a look at. Unfortunately, the Colts got him, but Frank Reich has made him the Thurman Thomas of that offense. Mm-hmm. And he's really embraced that role. I think he's a lock to me to be the MVP. I'd be shocked if it wasn't him. I know it is a quarterback-driven award, but I feel like he should get it. If there's any player that should get it that isn't a quarterback, it's Jonathan Taylor.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. And I think the only shade, just to play devil's advocate, would be that would he be in the discussion if Henry was still healthy? And there's a lot of what ifs in that statement. I love defense, man. Like, as much as I love watching the offense torch off, I love defense. And TJ Watt is a bad man. And, I know Eric, this one's for you, buddy, Eric Gordner. I mean, if a defensive player was going to get it, I would put him above Donald right now. I think he's younger, more active, I think he plays his ass off. Not that Donald doesn't, but it would be really cool to me to see a defensive player get it. And for somebody to come out of the shadow of his brother and to be playing damn near, if not better than what JJ was. So
hot take right here. You ready for this?
Do it.
TJ Watt is better than JJ Watt.
See,
in my opinion,
I alluded and I
will say it boldly and proudly. I've thought it even comparing their college years. I thought TJ more of an all-around football player.
Yeah. Just
more of an all-purpose, linebacker. Can rush the passer, can cover, can tackle in the open field. I mean, not many guys can do that, So I love TJ Watt. He's a very exciting player.
Yeah. See, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Two different defenses.
Devil's advocate.
I know JJ was a defensive end on a 4-3 defense, and TJ is an outside linebacker on a 3-4. Athletic wise, yes, TJ I think has the notch, but JJ did some things at that 4-3 defensive end that a lot of teams, a lot of players can't match up, and not even his brother.
I think it's going to be interesting when you're putting their careers side by side when everything's said and done.
It's a talented family.
A very talented family, but I think it's going to come down to who was available longer, right?
Longevity. Yep.
JJ's had his, has he played a full season in the last 5 years, And his brother seems to be pretty healthy most of the time. So if it's genetic or if it's conditioning or if it's position or whatever, I think that's going to be the telling factor. Like, JJ is a stud. He'll be a Hall of Famer. We all know it. It's fine. But who had the better career? Or when it's all said and done, that's I'm really interested to see. Because I think if TJ can stay healthy and he puts in 3 more years of production, he's by far going to have statistically the better career on paper than JJ did.
I think to Scott's point, too, JJ Watt, he's been a great 4-3 pass rusher. But a 4-3 pass rusher is asked to get into a car crash every single snap. Every single snap.
Yeah,
that's what they're asked to do and to create. And as you get on that wrong side of 30, that's going to only get worse. Whereas TJ Watt, he's more in the field. He's more, outside as an outside linebacker. So he's playing more of like a Matt Milano type role. Obviously, he can do a little bit more things athletically too, and being a DN as well. But I just think TJ Watt, it depends on what you want in a player. And I just love the dynamic skill set. I feel like TJ is more of a dynamic player, more dynamic athlete than JJ. Not taking anything away from JJ, but no. I really like TJ Watt out of the two.
Brent Thomason says, Henry rushed for over 2K last year and didn't get a vote. Very good point. He also says, them Watt boys are country fed.
It's true.
They sure are. Iowa, right? Was it Iowa? Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah, Nebraska. Yep.
Gotcha. Yep. Guys, I agree with Ryan on this MVP vote. I think it should be Jonathan Taylor, 1,700 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns, actually 1,628 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns, 35 catches out of the backfield, 2 touchdowns added to there. But as we said just 5 seconds ago, the King did what he did with 2,000 rushing yards, and he didn't even get a vote. So it's a quarterback-driven league. Unless it's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, it won't be a running back for sure. Definitely won't be.
Now, quick question. Who votes that? Who makes those decisions, like as far as the voting? Who does the voting? The writers?
I have no idea.
I think this
probably
is a shot in the
PFF.
dark, but I think that it's a committee. And I think that it's made up of coaches, ex-players, and then media members. If I'm right. I might be completely wrong, but that's what I always thought it was.
The wrong people.
I hate to say this, but I don't think that's right. I feel like it should be the player that is most valuable to their team in a winning effort. I mean, if there's a case where a team is really, really bad and a guy is, making them somewhat average and it's blatantly obvious, then that's another argument for another day. But I feel like you can't just vote based on it being a quarterback-driven league. I feel like the quarterback position is already glorified as it is. I feel like the MVP is an opportunity to throw some positive praise towards a player that deserves it, that isn't a quarterback. And King Henry should have got it last year, I feel. You know,
I mean, players should definitely be a large part of the vote as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Coaches for sure, because they have to plan against these guys. You throw stats and fans in there, yeah, well, maybe a little bit, but the committees that are brought in are, I'm guessing, 65, 70, 80-year-olds that, who is TJ McKellar Watt? You know what I mean? Kind of like the Hall of Fame. What's that?
Yeah,
I got it. You want to know?
Yeah, let's know. Let's hear about it.
So there's 50 voters, and they are chosen by the Associated Press every year, and the voters are ultimately the ones that decide the NFL MVP. There's a lot of carryover from year to year, but the voters are not necessarily the same. So the AP goes through and picks by the looks, media members, ex-players, announcers. Let's see. They got
all wrong.
Yeah, that's not right to me. I feel like if it's the AP choosing it, then it's the AP choosing mostly. I'd say if it's the AP choosing it, just throwing this out there, I'd say it's a guesstimate of 60 to 70% media members. And,
Probably.
You know, I understand that these guys cover the teams and cover the sport, but I feel like that should be a peer vote. I feel like that should be voted on by the players that are currently playing or even former players.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers should have more of a say in that vote than media members.
The ones that understand what a week-to-week basis is, based on competition, based on who they're playing, based on what kind of defensive schemes are 4-3 versus 3-4, a run and shoot offense, a West Coast offense, a run heavy offense. It should all be based on what players and coaches know, not what the media is writing about and think they know what they're talking about. Yes, the media has the credit that they could do, but come on, it needs to be someone that actually is a part of the game, has played the game, and is an everyday basis studying the game and trying to figure things out. That's a bunch of BS.
So just for like a benchmark, this article is talking about the 2019 MVP award, and the 2018 MVP included several of the biggest names in sports media: Troy Aikman, Peter King, Chris Collingsworth, and Tony Dungy. And out of those four dudes, Tony Dungy is the only person I would think I would respect their opinion.
Yep.
Well, Troy Aikman, Troy Aikman's a former MVP. So, I mean, and he's a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay.
And I would 100% agree with you, except for the way that he kissed Baker Mayfield's ass after he threw 4 picks in the first half of that game last week.
Well, and he completely misevaluated Josh Allen, but so did the rest of the league outside of the Bills. So.
Sure, and there's hits and misses, but man,
right.
I was so livid because, like, whatever. I'm bitter about Troy Aikman. I 100%. He's an amazing quarterback, and he deserves everything he got. I hate those 2 Super Bowls. They ruined my 6th and 7th grade year of school or whatever. But I understand that he's like a good player. To me, him sitting there, he would not make those excuses for Josh Allen. Josh Allen has had a better career. He's got more playoff experience. He was an MVP
and he's better.
Up, and he's just better. And he would not have made 4 interceptions. Baker's got to come out. It was so tender-footed. And I'm like, what is this obsession with Baker Mayfield, dude? Like, what is it about this guy where they won't say what they said about Josh Allen before Josh Allen even stepped on the field? And then if he had a good game for the first 3 years that he was here, it was an anomaly. Well, even a blind squirrel kind of mentality, But Baker, they'll make excuses. I'm sorry. I hate the Browns.
Any fan that watches the game, they understand it with the announcers how biased Collinsworth is and how biased Troy Aikman is. Yeah. So if you were to throw those 4 names out there, I think 99% of us would say Dungy's the only one that they can.
Yeah, I would say if I were to pick one of those, I mean, obviously, come on, Chris Con. The fact that he replaced the late great icon, legend, all-time icon in football, John Madden, in the commentary booth is blasphemy. That is the worst. That's like replacing Tom Brady with Rob Johnson. I mean, that is terrible. Terrible.
Like replacing
I
Doug
read
Flutie
that
with Rob Johnson.
I read that. I read that, reading, John Madden retired in 2009. Chris Collinsworth took his spot. I was like, he did take his spot. He's in the booth with that. He's been in the booth with Al Michaels ever since.
But he got fired.
That is.
Do you guys remember this? Chris Collinsworth got fired halfway through his career. And he took like a year or two off. And the only reason I remember this was because it was the funniest thing to me. He was going, he became like a Bengals season ticket holder, but he was sitting in the nosebleeds. And I remember this game.
Dad's here, everyone.
Oh, hey, what's up, Papa Reed? So I remember this game where they're in the booth, they're calling the game, and one of the cameramen found Chris Collinsworth sitting in the nosebleeds by himself with no one around him. And they're like, oh, I guess even Chris Collinsworth can't get a good seat in this stadium or whatever. And it was like the year or two that he wasn't in broadcasting, and then he came back. But, God, I hate that guy.
That's crazy.
Now he's getting paid $12 million a year.
Yeah, he gets paid a lot of money now.
Oh, God.
There you go. All right, guys. Yeah, so I just looked at it, guys. The Ravens are playing the Rams at 1:00. So if we're rooting for anybody for these early games, a Bills win and a Ravens loss clinches a playoff spot for us. So we can watch them both at once. I'll have them on both my TVs.
Lamar Jackson, is he going today?
I don't know.
We can look it up.
Yeah. I mean, that'll play a part. I mean, they've had some decent quarterback play even without him, but it plays a part in it.
They're playing the Rams. Rams is an extremely tough defense.
Very good team, too.
Yep.
Yeah, very good team. Loaded.
Right. While Swank's looking that up, guys, I want to say awesome show. Again, Sunday sessions at 11:30. We can go half an hour, 45 minutes, or even an hour like we are today. We like to crack open our first beer. We like to talk Bills versus whoever they're playing and touch on some things that happen throughout the week. You can hit us up every Sunday at 11:30 for the pregame. We also have the K-Gun Report every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We like to talk about what happened in the previous game and the upcoming game. Guys, 25 degrees, a little bit of wind, some snow. It sounds like Buffalo Bills football in January. What do you think, Swank?
Get your clippers and your Sharpies ready because Lamar's out.
Ooh.
So remember, we win.
That's good.
We win and Ravens lose. We clinch that spot, and we all agreed to do the Fu Manchu challenge. So,
listen, if I'm
my Fu Manchu is going to be so weak.
If I'm shaving off this glorious beard right here for the ultimate braided Fu Manchu of your dreams, 24/7 BF family, all of you guys better do it. And also, females are not exempt. And also, people that can't grow facial hair are not exempt. I want to see Sharpie Fu Manchus. I want to see the real deal. And you only got to wear them. Like, I guess we got to do it until Tuesday, right? Like, it's got to be on for the show.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably buzz up this part and just keep the stash with the 5 o'clock shadow so I can look like the ultimate creep. But
more like the ultimate creep.
More so like the ultimate creep.
All right, guys. Hey, we got a tough game ahead. We still got to play the games. The Falcons are coming in. They have to win their games to make the playoffs. So they're coming in, biting, screaming, kicking, doing whatever they can. And we still have to hold our own. We got to win. We got to take the AFC East, and we got to go into the playoffs hot. I want the final take from both of you guys. Thomas, take over here. What's your final thought for today's game?
Final thought for today's game, you got to take every single opponent seriously. This is a team that is coming in here looking to get a win to, kind of bookend their season. There's obviously another week left of the regular season, but for Atlanta to come in here metaphorically and take on the Bills and, beat us, that would build towards next year for them. I think this year is kind of obsolete for them, but it would obviously be a good way to end their season. And for the Buffalo Bills, I mean, this is another opportunity for them to really open things up. Show that each and every player on offense has a dynamic role that I think they can play within that role and succeed. I think they've proven that, especially against the Patriots this past week. That was a game where we saw every player included in the game plan and playing a major part in that W, and I hope to see that continue. And if that can continue, this will be a tough team to play, whether we're playing the Colts or not in the playoffs. I'd give them a chance against anybody in the playoffs. So that's the final take.
There it
Hell
is.
yeah. Hell yeah, Thomas take. As far as I'm going, man, I think you gotta shut down that Mr. Patterson man, and I also think that I mean, we touched on it, but Matty Ice, he is no joke. He is a fantastic quarterback. He doesn't have a line. He doesn't have much help, but he is one of those dudes that can make it happen. So, like I said, a lot of pressure often, make him uncomfortable. He's an older quarterback. He's got to be questioning whether this is like the last couple years of his career or not. Especially with
he's got to get out of Atlanta, not to interrupt, but
absolutely has to get out of Atlanta. But if he does that, does that mean, does he take a Stafford deal, or does he take a backup Dalton kind of deal? You know what I mean? Like, where's he at? Where does
he go?
Place him?
I mean, I just popped into my head as you were saying that. Not to interrupt you, but Matt Ryan in Cleveland, that's a completely different team. If he was the Cleveland Browns quarterback,
100% agree.
Love it.
It's a better locker room too.
Yeah,
especially if you get rid of Landry and Hunt and Baker. Yeah, I'm in it. I'm a Browns fan.
You can get Ryan for cheaper, I believe. Probably can get him cheaper because he's getting older and he understands this. Cheaper than you would have to pay Mayfield.
Or Russell Wilson, for that matter, who's looking like he might be a free agent. So
Russell Wilson is always an option.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, with that finger and the way he's finishing out the season here. I don't know how much gas is left in that tank either. I mean, he might be comeback player of the year next year, though. Who knows? It's interesting. It's weird for me to think of Russell Wilson in anything other than like a Seattle jersey, though. Especially after the way he won the job and all that stuff.
Right.
You guys want to go another hour?
Yeah, I was gonna say my heater's about to kick in, so I apologize about the noise. My final thought. I have two final thoughts. One for the team. We're on a hot streak. We're playing fast. We're playing hot. We're playing hard, right? We need to continue. This is a game that you need to handle. This is one of those games where it's a fourth quarter, last drives kind of situation. You want to convince us Bills fans? A lot of us are already convinced, but you want to convince the ones that we are questionable if they're even Bills fans. You need to handle the Falcons in this cold, snowy game and come out of this hot. And this one's for the fans. Guys, we have 2 weeks left and 2 games that we could all very easily win, but we have to play the games. The playoffs is a whole new situation. It's a completely different situation. Teams that go into the 7th spot make it deep into the playoff run. So it's a different world. It's a different strategy, and it's fun football. I mean, I love it because they're Saturday and Sunday games. So, guys, final thought, fans, stick with it. We got a whole new season coming up in 2 weeks. In Buffalo, you better handle it because this is one of those games, including next week, that you have to handle. Our Bills are hosting the 7 and 8 Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons coming in hot, trying to win some games for playoffs. Bills are in the driver's seat. They need to handle what they need to handle. And, I'm excited. We got about a half an hour to the game. And, drink your beer, your wine, your liquor, whatever gets you through the games. Join the Fandemonium. We have a live chat going on. The game stream
Game day
will be
thread.
going on. Game day thread will be going on. And then don't forget to hit us up every Tuesday on the Cake on Report as we go live at 8 o'clock. And also Sunday sessions at 11:30.
Love it.
All right, guys.
Awesome show, guys.
Half an hour to
You
game
too,
time.
man.
Great show, guys. And cheers and go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills!
Hey!
This is a dangerous group